Hello, guys. Thanks for dropping in. Um, my name is Chris Arneson. Um, I'm a freelance illustrator. I do a lot of work for Goodman Games. This is my first live stream for Goodman Games or anybody. So, this is a first for me. So, if you can bear with me, that would be incredible. Um, Little bit about me, I guess. I've been doing art, oh, most of my life since high school. Went to UW Whitewater for fine arts back in early '90s. Got out of there with the idea of doing freelance illustration, possibly for uh, TSR, which we all grew up and loved before that was sold, and that dream was shattered. Um, I got lucky to get my start doing some illustration for a lot of collectible card games back in the mid late '90s for Wheel of Time, Legends of Five Rings, Rifts, a number of other ones. Eventually, I took a break as bills needed to be paid, and I had to get a full time job, and ended up taking a break from illustration. Um, Reconnected around 2007 with Joseph Goodman of Goodman Games and worked on my first images for them and Castle White Rock. Uh, that was while I was in between jobs, and just about then I had started a new job. So my illustration career took another pause after 2007, and I had a full time job doing photo retouching for agencies. And finally, in 2017, I decided to try and do freelancing full time and graciously reconnected with Joseph Goodman again for Goodman Games, and I've been doing work for them steadily ever since. And it's been just, you know, uh, pleasure to work with them. Great company, great people that work for them. So yeah, and now I'm doing this, and yeah, it's nice and silent here.
So, what you got in store for us today? What you gonna be drawing?
Well, I thought since I have nothing prepared and barely got prepared for this, I thought I'd put together a little list of a few simple, hopefully simple images of either maybe a skull, a beholder, or a wizard. And our host, Alana, thought a wizard might be fun. So I might give that an attempt. Sometimes I can draw, sometimes I do a lot of erasing and things of that nature. Hopefully, this will go smooth and something will come out all right. But yeah, if there's enough time, maybe I'll move on and do one of the other ones. Or if someone has a suggestion, maybe I'll feel brave enough to take something on. But I guess we'll have to see. All right, guys,
Fine.
let's see if I can do something. No pressure. A wizard.
So, one suggestion you've already got is a pan of baked ziti, but eldritch baked ziti.
Well, first of all, I don't know what Ziti is.
How do you not know what baked ziti is?
I'm single and I don't get much great, interesting foods. If that's a reason enough. What is baked ziti? Now I gotta ask you because they can't tell me.
Ziti is a type of pasta, and it's like I don't know how many types of pasta you know. Do you know like what rigatoni is? I guess rigatoni.
I know it's a pasta.
Yeah, okay. It's just like a cylindrical piece of pasta with ridges on it. That's ziti. So ziti, baked ziti is basically that, but a bunch of cheese and basically whatever you want thrown in there with some sauce and baked, and it's all melty and gooey and delicious.
Aha. Sounds pretty good.
The other suggestion is by TSW 512, and he's wondering if you can draw a dead air elemental. But that's because, dead air.
Uh-huh. Well, I can do polar bears in a snowstorm real well. Yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to be able to see your Twitch things or not, but I don't see the chat. So.
Yeah, that's no biggie. I'll send you the important stuff.
So thankfully we've got you for that. I appreciate it.
So I am curious, what are your favorite things to draw? Like, what is, like, when you're just sitting down just to doodle and you don't really have anything going on, but you really have, like, the itch to draw something, what is it that you typically go to?
Skulls. Because they're easy for me. I'm not much of a doodler anymore, actually. Yeah, I usually the only times I draw stuff anymore is if I have an art order for something. Unfortunately. Or I'm behind and scrambling to get ready for a show that I'm not sure what I'm going to do or anything. But when I was younger, and I used to doodle in high school, because of course, that's what you do during classes. My number one doodle would be Eddie from Iron Maiden, if anyone is familiar with him. But yeah, unfortunately, not much doodling for me anymore.
So Jess mentioned that her husband Brad would like to know if you can draw darkness in a coal mine.
Well, I can, but it'd be quicker to just turn the power off.
So we do have TSW 512 saying that or mentioning that he knows some Eddie. So, and those of you who did not make it to GaryCon, we will be getting some seminars up on the YouTube channel. Just shameless plug here while we're working. But we did have a really cool session on what inspired the artists that do some of our stuff here at Goodman Games, and we had some good conversation with Jeff Easley, Doug Kovacs, and Chris Arneson here. And I remember you during that seminar talking about that was like your number one like inspiration for kind of what you wanted to do.
Yeah. Of course, I spaced out a little bit, so you can use the excuse that you never listened to me, Chris.
It's okay. Don't worry about it.
I didn't catch all that. I was in the moment, I guess.
No worries. So, quick little side note. Thank you. I am going to butcher your name, Paxaniseki? Siki? I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to call you Paxson. But thank you for that Prime sub. You have been subbed for 5 months, and that's pretty wicked.
I don't know what that means, but...
So, I'll initiate Chris and those of you who are new to Twitch and don't know what it is. Basically, it's they subscribe to our channel to support us and whatnot, and I wanted to shout that out for you guys because that really means a lot to me and the gang here.
Absolutely. Are you guys able to see this all right? Am I, just out of curiosity, if anyone's watching, does it look okay to you?
I'm not getting anybody telling me they can't see it yet, so I'll wait. But TSW is curious, what kind of non-fantasy subjects do you like to draw, as far as, like, do you like nature, do you like animals, or things like that?
Well, since I don't do a lot of doodling or anything anymore, would be kind of nice to do some cool landscapes or something at some point. I did do a steampunk pug a few years ago for a Humane Society charity auction. It was actually kind of interesting. Fun.
We've got some compliments on your wizard. Sky 2 is impressed by the stash. TSW says Tracy says that you need to add a giant wart to the wizard's nose.
A giant wart. What about a medium-sized one? Does that work? Let's see here.
Oh man, right on the center too.
Foreshadowing of my older years. Sometimes when I'm working, things just work out all right. And sometimes they just, you get an expectation and it's just like, man, why am I doing this? I don't think I can draw at all. So sometimes things work out all right. This one's not coming along too bad. I'm not one of those people that gets an entire vision of anything. Kind of get maybe a loose idea and then just kind of work with whatever comes out of my pencil, I guess you could say.
Now, how does that work with when you get like work orders? Do you want them to be like uber detailed work orders, or do you just kind of take the general idea of what is given to you and kind of just let your pencil guide you, for lack of a better term?
Well, I'll obviously stick with the details, but as far as the description of the character and stuff, but I won't necessarily know the exact pose of what I want. That might fluctuate, or position of different things or people. Sometimes it's nice when you just get a PDF of the page before it's released, and it's like just pick something you like out of here that strikes you, and work from that, as opposed to um, getting oh an exact description. We want this, we want this, we want that, and sometimes it's nice for a little freedom. I don't know if anyone's familiar with Goodman Games' Cthulhu Alphabet, um, but that was an incredibly fun one to work on, and I did get to have a page in there where my instructions were, well, there's a full page. Go ahead and you know do whatever you think would you'd enjoy doing. So of course, that was my chance to do a Cthulhu, which who doesn't want to do some Lovecraft imagery, um, and that was probably one of my better pieces. Sometimes you get lucky. Sometimes when you get the freedom to do something without so much of the constraint of the proportions or where it's got to go and the size, you get lucky. And I have to thank who I'm going to call my co-host, because apparently she doesn't usually do a lot of talking during these things, but I really appreciate the bit she's doing, because I'm not sure what the heck I'm doing rambling about. So
You're very welcome. I like doing. I like coming up with just random questions. Really, is what I like to do.
let's see here.
So I kind of want to take it a couple steps back because I've been thinking about this for a little bit. You mentioned that you wanted to do landscape pictures at some point. What kind of landscape are you drawn to? Would you want to do like big, adventurous, maybe not the right word, but it's the one that comes to mind, like big, giant adventure mountains, or like something more like bogs and creeks or forests, things like that?
Well, oftentimes, actually, I'm drawn to something that's just nice and simple. So if anyone's ever been out to Oregon, and seen or been to Cannon Beach, or at least seen the Goonies, one of the famous scenes in the Goonies is Haystack Rock. That's those big rocks that are jutting out of the ocean and towards the end of the movie. Um, those would be fun. Something like that, simple and fun to work from. I don't want to paint a million trees or anything.
Yeah, I feel like that'd get tedious after a while, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's familiar with my work. I'm not the best action guy with all kinds of guys fighting and everything like that. I'm usually better at keeping things simple, a couple figures here and there, not necessarily action. Um, some people are incredibly great at that. Unfortunately, not me. Um, I like simple things. I hope I am never asked to do a big battle of 5 armies or anything of the such. Of course, I'll whittle that down. Well, can I crop into just this guy and that guy, and everyone else will be, just little dots in the background.
So we do have two questions in the chat from Hectophonic and TSW, both asking about music. So TSW, I'll answer your question. Yes, he does like to listen to music while he draws. Hectophonic's question is there any music that you like to listen to? Basically, what type of music do you like to listen to while you draw?
Well, yes, she is correct. I usually don't draw in silence, so this is why I'm thanking her for talking, because otherwise I just feel incredibly weird with this silence. But I will listen to all kinds of music. I'll listen to a lot of soundtracks from different movies that I really love. Um, I will listen to, just a radio station. Um, I like heavy metal. I like alternative music. I like 70s. I like 80s. I like just a lot of different stuff. Um, Sometimes I'll just have movies on in the background. Generally, ones that I haven't seen before because I probably won't be paying too much attention. But you always got nice movies that are good to listen to in the background. Like, you go to like Gladiator or Braveheart. They've got a great soundtrack and stuff, and just nice to listen to. Um, Sometimes I'll just go to YouTube to the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon and hit that on play and let that go in the background. One of my childhood favorite cartoons, and it's got a great soundtrack and stuff. I really like listening to that while I work. And sometimes I'll go on YouTube and listen to some Lovecraft audiobooks. It's kind of nice, but I'm pretty much can listen to just about anything, other than as long as I don't have to work in silence. I don't know if that helps at all.
Hectophonic said that it's very cool, and when you mentioned the D&D cartoon, there was a big resounding yes. Sky 2 does have another question tailing onto that. How about punk music? He's got a working theory of DCC fans and the punk metal spectrum.
I guess I'd listen to some Social Distortion. I don't think I'd listen to a lot of punk too much until 2000s. I had a coworker who introduced me to some of it, and I guess if Social Distortion, does that fit the bill? I don't know if we can say or not, but
Yeah, give it a couple of seconds. There's normally a time buffer.
sure.
Big Bald Matt does say that social distortion is a fine choice. Sky 2 also asks, have you played DCC, or do you play DCC?
Unfortunately, I have never played DCC. I only got to play Dungeons and Dragons at ever so slight, like 5 or 6 times when I was a kid. So I never really got to play Dungeons and Dragons either. Up until this last year, I hooked up with some fine gentlemen on Zoom, which was completely new to me and beyond my technical capabilities with my computer and such. But that's been great. But someday I would like to play DCC. So unfortunately, I feel bad when fans of the game and whatnot mention certain things, and I'm like, Sorry, man, I don't know what to tell you. I just draw some of the pictures they tell me.
So what I'm hearing is, and I'm rubbing my hands together in a maniacal way, is next GaryCon, I'm dragging you from your booth, and you're coming to a funnel with me.
That sounds fun. Fun in the funnel. I hear the goal is to get killed.
I mean, it's just as much fun to survive as it is to die, but yeah, you typically go into a funnel expecting death.
See how long you last, at least. So sometimes when I'm working on these and I'm going in quick and I want to put in some shading and stuff to help me get an idea. Bring this down, actually. There we go. I'll use what's called a stomp. I can really quickly go in and blend and put in shading and grays. And it's just really nice and fast. You can go back and erase out of it. Just a nice quick way to throw in some shading. Sometimes when I would do my inking for Goodman, I might do the outlines in ink and then go back and do pencil shading. Sometimes I would do ink washes, but it's just, it can be really fast just to throw down some shading with a stomp here. And right now it's just blending the residual pencil that's on the end of it. So I don't even have to, have anything down with my pencil or have to put any shading down, because it's just pulling what it's stored in the end there, kind of. Now this is just kind of, a bit how I work. Certainly not the end all be all. I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave this just ahead. I'm afraid I'm gonna mess it up if I try and put in anything else here. I kind of like how this is looking.
Actually, I think it's a really cool way to shade.
It's fun and it's pretty simple. I almost feel bad, like it's cheating. And pretty much anybody can do it. So as simple as this part is, I always love, well, it's been a number of decades probably, but when you used to play Pictionary with friends and whatnot, and they're like, we can't play with you because you can draw. Thing that they don't think about is, well, I can't draw fast. If you want me to draw a dog in 30 seconds, it's going to look just like the amoeba you're probably going to do. So speed isn't always a thing.
I always wondered, do artists have a bit of an edge in Pictionary? or do the people who can't really draw that well but can draw really fast stick figures?
Well, I can guarantee I don't have an edge. I've drawn plenty of what in the world is that thing? Yeah, and then you got the person that doesn't maybe think like, oh, I got to make this perfect or something, and they whip something out and it's guessed right away. So what do we got? 1,000 followers so far?
Got about 20 in case you're curious.
Sure. I only paid 15 of them, so we got some stragglers. I don't know what the standard is, so.
To be honest, I know I'm the one who does all of these, but I'm not even sure of the standard half the time. I'm just excited that people are here.
I'm just thankful you're talking a bit. I'm feeling a little better, so that's nice. We got an hour and a half so far?
Yes, sir. We've got about an hour and a half left. So if you want to move on to, well, that's if you want to do the 2 hours. So if you want to move on from the wizard at some point, you are more than happy. Or welcome. More than welcome to. I'm really bad with words, don't mind me.
Well, that's all right. We can have a competition to see who's worse. Oh. Yeah, I'll work on this a bit longer as long as no one minds.
I'm down.
Does anyone mind?
Jess is liking the wart.
That was a great suggestion. Does anyone remember or watch the movie Uncle Buck? If I had a quarter scene. Now that was he was referring to the teachers, guidance counselors or whatever, mole, not a ward. I don't know if there's a difference. I'm not an expert, but if anyone's familiar with Uncle Buck with John Candy, that was it's a fun movie. That might be a little bit before our host's time, I think.
I'm assuming this is a quote from it, but Sky 2 just put, have a rat and all that thing off your face.
That's it. What did he say? If I had a quarter, I'd send you down or whatever and have a rat. Yeah. Good old John Candy. So, anyone noticed I switched over my pencil, and if you weren't paying attention, then you lose, because that was a test to see if you were paying attention. When I switched over to my pencil, this one's just got a harder lead in it, so I can get a finer line. The other pencil that I generally use there was has a softer, I think it's an HB lead. Um, so it's not as forgiving with the sharp details. Of course, this looks 10 times better in person, so, there's that. In case anyone's wondering, I'm working on Strathmore Bristol smooth surface paper. It's 100 pound. It's slightly heavier than I am.
To go along with what you're talking about with the paper, it's kind of funny. This is just perfect how it lined up. TSW is curious if there's some sort of art equipment that you can't work without. He gives a couple of examples, like a particular pencil or pen, a type of paper, or a certain weight of paper, things like that.
It just depends on the day whether I'm good or not. When I do my inking, I use brush. I'm not fancy enough or not to have the sable brush that all the great artists use just yet. Normally when I'm doing my sketches for illustration, for any assignments, because I'm not sure, how well it's going to come out, how much erasing I'm doing, if it's just going to be something real quick. Generally, I just work on typing paper, copy paper. But I thought I'd work on something a little nicer and hope that I don't screw up this paper. So far, it's not going too bad, but yeah, I generally will use Strathmore Bristol Smooth or their vellum paper if I want a little texture. I don't know if that answered the question or not, but of course I'm probably overworking this, and I should have hired someone else to do this before.
So we do have another question, and I'm gonna kind of paraphrase it here a little bit. Has there ever been like a character that you've created or an idea that you had that was difficult for you to figure out where to start? Like, I don't know how to explain that. Maybe you get what I'm going for.
Where to start?
Yeah, like you have this grand idea of a character or a picture, and I know you said that normally you don't tend to work off of like grand ideas that you have, but like say you do have this grand idea and you're like, I'm gonna draw this super fantastic piece, and then you sit down at your table and want to draw it, but you don't know where to start.
That's when I say, forget it. I'll try tomorrow. And I watch some Netflix and whatnot. Or now, actually, I'll sometimes page through some of my books that I love collecting to try and get some ideas. One person I've been looking at lately who I really love is Mark Schultz. Of course, I'm a huge fan of all the TSR illustrators, especially some of the early ones. Um, and so sometimes I'll, look through the books and see if, I can find something that might, inspire me a little bit. Um, if I'm having trouble with a pose or coming up with a pose, sometimes that helps. Sometimes I'll take some time. If I have an assignment and I've got time to work on it, I'll let it muddle around in my head till, something comes of it. Sometimes. I don't know if I've answered your question or not again.
Yeah. So that does lead me to a question of, have you ever gone through writer's, or not writer's block, but artist block, excuse me, gone through artist block, and how would you get out of that? How do you do you force yourself to draw even if you don't feel like you can, or do you just thumb through books like you said, or online or whatever for inspiration?
Well, like I said, sometimes I can draw, and then sometimes I feel like I can't, and it's sometimes you just have those days. Like I said, sometimes I'll just if if I can, I may take an extra day and just try and relax, maybe get caught up on some other things, so I don't have that pressure weighing on me. And hopefully the next day, I'll have an idea and be able to draw whatever it is. Like this, I'm actually fairly happy with this. This is, kind of a miracle.
That's a wicked wizard.
He's something, all right. I don't know what exactly, but but yeah, I just, I mean, as far as block, if I'm given an assignment and I've got something to go by, I've got something to work with. If someone's like, draw something, my mind goes a million places, and I'm not, I can fumble and be like, I don't know. And I can do that to myself quite easily too. But
So,
is everyone all right if I keep working on this a little bit?
yeah, go ahead. Brad does wonder, so that tool that you were using to do all your shading just now, Brad is curious what it was, because I don't think he wasn't around at the time whenever you first explained it.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm not giving Brad tips. Lose my job. Yeah, it's just a stomp called a stomp. Looks kind of like a cigar. Oops. Get it on screen here. Yeah, there's some different sizes. Another thing I sometimes use the piece of felt or whatnot. If I get some graphite down, I can just go and blend a big area and get some shade. But yeah.
So TSW here has another question. When you do get to play some RPGs, what kind of characters do you tend to play, and what's your best character name?
Well, usually I play a fighter because I wouldn't know what the heck to do as a wizard, because that requires remembering spells and all that stuff, and that's a little too much for me. So I usually just go with the simple fighter. Currently, I'm working with a dwarf fighter, and his name is Zorn. That's kind of a name that I picked when I was a kid. I don't know that I read it anywhere or what, but I don't think I did. But so that's kind of my go-to name. Oops. Oh yeah. Uh-oh. Where in the world did you guys go? What is this?
I think your wizard put some witchcraft on you.
Fun stuff with technical things. My camera that I've been using is a DSLR, and we just figured out not too long ago a little hack to keep it on continuous focus. Otherwise, it seems to time out and just shut off, even though I've got continuous power. So I'm not sure if that slipped off or what, but I guess you can't have a first show without some technical difficulties.
At least this time it wasn't audio, right?
Yeah. Alana and I have figured, we certainly put our work into this, trying to get me figured out and set up here so that this would work. So I appreciate it. I think we both learned a bit more about this setup than either of us planned.
Yeah.
That was one of our two last issues that we were having a hard time figuring out was my camera was timing out, and it just decided to shut off. So apparently this hack might, I don't know if my rubber band slipped off a little bit or what exactly, but well, thanks for bearing with us anyway. This guy kind of reminds me of Jed from the Beverly Hillbillies for some reason.
I think it's the grumpy face.
Mm-hmm. Let's put in some highlights here. So, Brad, did you get that answer on the stomp?
I believe he did, because I think if I scan the chat, he says, "Thank you, Mr. Arneson."
You bet. Oh. Yeah, he looks kind of... That's a hillbilly wizard if I ever saw one.
So would his staff of choice be a pitchfork?
Probably. He's got to have a couple flies zipping around his head there.
Both Brad and Jess said that he definitely would not look out of place in Shutter Mountains.
Definitely not. That would be fit right in. See, now I'm going to be on the verge of overworking.
put it this way. If Matt decides that he wants to use it, wink wink, nudge nudge, hey look, you got a piece without realizing it.
Yeah, Matt, find a place for this hillbilly wizard head. That's your task. Doesn't have to be a full page. You can use them quarter page.
So, is there? I can't remember because I have a really short-term memory sometimes. But are there certain like pieces or books or mini adventures or anything that you've been commissioned to do that has been like your favorite piece?
That Cthulhu that I was talking about, that turned out, that's one of my favorites, and it seems to be, fan favorite at convention, but of course, it's Cthulhu. I have done a number of favorites for Goodman Games Tales from the Magician's Skull. I love doing work for that. That's always a full page, and basically you get to read the story. Fun fact, I'm not much of a reader, so I'm forced to read because I've got to find, passages that strike me and, give me some imagery to work from. And so that's good. And I've done some that I'm really happy with. I'll see if I can show you one of them, see if this works. This is from Tales from the Magician's Skull number 7. I think this is the most recent one. And this is by a story by Nathan Meyer, called Beneath a Scarlet Moon. But let's see if I can get it on here. But that's one of my illustrations that I did for that I was pretty happy with. Not that you can see it, of course. That's a little better. But yeah, this interesting centipede guy. Yeah, it was a fun illustration to work from. Again, sometimes things just work and it comes together, and you're like, ooh, this will be a cool one. Sometimes it's just like, it's gonna be okay. Another fun one I did was for Cyclops Con. I can't remember what this was for. Maybe this was, I don't remember. Well, anyway, I did. They wanted, pick a demon from, it was from the old GM's Guide or some of those, and then re-envision it for yourself. So I picked one of Dave Trampier's Pit Fiend, and I created this, minus the pit friend and the teddy bear and the pink, and it was just done, in red and stuff. But then I had the fun idea to, cute this evil-looking guy up, and I threw a teddy bear that I had done for a different illustration in, threw some pink on it and stuff, and another good friend of mine came up with the name Pit Friend instead of Pit Fiend. So it was one that I thought was fun, and one of my more interesting pieces, I thought. I might actually see about putting that on a shirt at some point. But yeah. So fun things. let's see. Does Mr. Wizard need anything else, or do I call him good?
Oh, you are so hillbillying him up with those like scraggles there. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
So, we've already got one person in the chat, by the way, saying you should make a t-shirt out of that pit friend.
I'll expect them to buy it. They're going to be $100 a pop.
Those better be hoodies and not t-shirts. Oh no.
I did it again. My hack is slipping. Are we back?
I think we're back.
Were we ever really here?
Oh,
or
now
is
we're
all
getting
just,
into existential crises, and I
just
don't
in
like
your
it.
imagination?
Are we a simulation?
Well, if I am, then someone needs to do a better job, dang it.
So, upon arrival now, TSW asks, so you sign your art with a cool little symbol instead of your name. Why do you do that, and how many versions of your symbol have you used or had?
So, speaking of that, I will throw something on here. Gonna flop this guy on you. So, when was it? Back in college, I messed around, as probably a lot of artists do, trying to figure out how they're going to sign their name. And for me, it's about, okay, does that look kind of neat? And is it going to be easy and repeatable? And I'm going to erase this because it's bothering the heck out of me because I made it crooked. Yep, I know. Does it really matter? So, I always liked the way Jeff Easley signed his. And Larry Elmore, that line going through it. I'm going to make sure this is perpendicular, dang it. Using another piece of paper. It wasn't too bad anyway. Oh well. But anyway, so yeah, he just did the whole testing, trying to come up with different ideas. A lot of cool signatures. Mine's pretty simple, nothing special, and I even simplified it more than usual by making it just an A, because it's easy. I used to do my full name, right along there, RNESON along the top. Sometimes I'll do that, rarely. It's just so much work. And sometimes I'll put a dot here. I don't know. People ask, what's a dot mean? I don't know. It's just, sometimes I put it there, sometimes not. But generally my signature is, just a little A like that. So, yeah. Well, so what are we? How are we on time? Where are we at? Okay, we got an hour left.
Yeah, we're at 9:05.
All right. So what do you think? Is he done? Yeah, I guess he can be done. A little more something.
Do we want to get suggestions from the chat while you're putting little finishing touches on them?
We can try that.
right.
If anyone has some suggestions. Um, Otherwise, I was thinking something simple like maybe a beholder. It's easier than drawing people sometimes, especially women. I'm not very good at drawing women, not without reference at least.
Brad wants you to do a lich beholder.
A lip beholder. So that again, pardon my lack of knowledge. That would essentially be in like an undead, rotting flesh type of beholder. Is that correct?
And now he wants a sexy lich beholder.
Now he's going too far. He's pushing the envelope too much.
But we all know Brad loves his rotting flesh art.
Uh-huh.
So,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
All right. Well,
You've got
let's see.
another suggestion that you could choose from as well from TSW, which is a Minotaur.
I'm not drawing no stinking Minotaur TSW. Unless you're gonna send me a pic of it. This was my test image from earlier today. I'm like, can I draw a skull in this setup? So, just a fun, quick little goofy thing. I want photo reference of a Minotaur in a interesting pose, wearing a one piece thong swimsuit, kind of like Borat.
Oh,
Anyone
no.
familiar with Borat? So TSW, as soon as you send me that, I'll use it as reference and do your Minotaur. Hopefully TSW is who I think it is. If it's some random person, then I my apologies.
He would be named Boratar, according to TSW.
Boratar, pretty good. Well, let's see if we do some sort of beholder thingy. I've got to think exactly a little bit about a beholder here. We got one decent illustration, so I can't make any promises with this one. This might not do it. See, I have no idea, so I'm just kind of trying to feel my way through with my pencil here and hope that maybe I can pull something kind of interestingly worthwhile out. But it might just end up look like a giant meatball with a couple of straggly things on it. Let's see. I'm assuming you're familiar with beholders, right, Alana?
Am I gonna get yelled at if I say no?
I don't care. I don't know what the heck I'm usually doing.
Matt is also saying you should make a beef holder. He also made the dad joke that I was scared. I didn't really want to repeat this, but I'm going to anyway. It is a really good dad joke. He wants to make, he said you should do a hive because it's a bee holder.
Uh-huh. I kind of got that. Oops, I'm going off the paper here. Getting a little. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna try and zoom out a little bit. I'm drawing this guy a little large. See if that works at all. I'll come back. This might not be your traditional beholder. I don't think I'm going to count. What is it? 10? You're supposed to have 10 tentacles. So, and I gotta watch my enunciation on that. Luckily, I said it right.
That beholders have tentacles?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, I didn't even know what a beholder was then. Now all I can think about when you say beholder and tentacles is I'm just imagining like Vel'Koz from League of Legends. I don't expect you to know what that is, but it's basically this big squid eldritch monster that floats around with a big ol' eyeball.
Okay. This is probably looking more like, what is it, Meatwad from Aqua Teen Hunger Force? Or a COVID thing. Right now, I'm just kind of winging the tentacle placement. Give this guy a horn. Because in my world, I can do whatever I want. Just happy little horns. So we better be up to like 200 people or I'm done with this.
Not quite 200, but you know, add a 0 to it and you're close.
We're at 2,000? Holy cow.
Dang it, no, Chris.
You know what? I'm going to give this guy the same beard as my hillbilly wizard. This beholder is going to have a beard, dang it. Let's just get crazy in here. Did I scare them? Are they all shocked and they all run away?
No.
Are they not able to see? Do you think I need to adjust this? Is my pencil line a little too light?
No, we can see it.
You can see it
it's
already?
more they're commenting on they're basically just talking to each other in chat.
They're talking about me, aren't they? Sons of
We've
gun.
got we've got a new joke, a new pun, the beard holder now.
As if we haven't heard that one before. Come up with something original, you people.
chat is just making up as many puns as they can with the beholder. Matt just brought out the drunken uncle is the beer holder.
Dang it! Again.
Alright, we'll be back. We'll see the beholder when we come back. We're back? Are we back?
Did something happen there?
I don't know. I think your wizard Jeb over there is kind of upset that you stopped working on him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. You know, you do like a 3-hour test to make sure you try and get all these hiccups out, and you get it and everything's working great. And then you get to the event, and what happens? Mm-hmm. That's because you people aren't participating enough. My camera's tired of it. It's like, if they're not participating, I'm not going to participate. This guy's getting some little warts and moles too. So
Don't mind me, I'm just telling chat what the song is that I found for the intro. People are liking it, so yay.
oh sure, take credit for my intro song.
Well, I can't take credit for the art, so I gotta take credit somewhere.
I haven't had a chance to hear it yet. That's not fair.
Oh, I'll send you an email.
Can't wait to hear it. Excuse me, I said I'd pick something out, but or I take a minute to look through, but of course I never got around to doing it, so thankfully Alana bailed me out for that and got something picked out. I'm just throwing in some shading for a kind of a guide and filler, give me something. So how's everyone doing on this? What is this, Monday night? None of you have to work tomorrow, do you?
I do.
Well, work or school or both?
Both.
Oh.
I'm with you
I
there,
got-
Victor. I wish it was Friday as well.
Normally, I would be like, oh yeah, Friday would be nice, but since freelancing, Friday doesn't really mean diddly to me. Or Saturday? What, really? It's Saturday? It's, yeah. Fortunately, that doesn't do much for me. Every day is kind of a potential work day. I run into the feeling of I should be working on something, even if I'm not. So it's sometimes a little hard to get myself to take a break without feeling guilty. Not that I don't take a break, but all you 9 to 5 people, there's pros and cons to everything, I guess. So has anyone seen the new movie on Netflix, Apollo 10 and a half, narrated by Jack Black?
No? Is it a comedy?
It's no, it's well, I mean, it's humorous. It's about the space race in the 60s. It's animated, mostly rotoscoped, which is sometimes it's okay. Sometimes it's not everyone's cup of tea. Um, but I think they did a really nice job with it, and the backgrounds and everything, the stylized backgrounds are just great. It's actually really good. And like I said, narrated by Jack Black, so he did a great job. It's pretty cool. So now this is going in a little bit different direction than than the wizard. But
So, P. Mullen Art asks, how does the graphite scan? Do you have to adjust a lot to get it to look right?
Not well. It all depends. Whenever I scan stuff, I've got to adjust it to drop the paper. I might tweak the midtones and stuff a bit, and darken the shadows. But I'm just using a simple Walmart printer scanner, HP Workforce something. So it's not like it's the most incredible thing, but it does a good enough job for me. But usually, yeah, there is a bit of work involved. Let's see here. Try and darken up some of these lines here. So sorry about all the technical difficulties, you guys, but I appreciate you sticking around and everything. I certainly appreciate my tech person hosting our show. I couldn't do this without her. So hopefully, you'll tune in next week, I guess. I haven't said anything to get kicked off Twitch yet, so.
Oh, I'll pull the plug. 100%. Nah, I'm kidding. So, couple of questions. There was one I missed up at the top of chat while we were having technical difficulties. Do you work, or TSW asks, how often do you work in color?
I haven't done as much in color as I used to. I'm getting back into it though. Actually, I'm working on painting for the Gary Con. Oh, is it 2023 convention for their logo? And I'm in the process eventually of getting to Goodman Games Dungeon Denizen illustrations. I've had those on the back burner for far too long. But eventually I'll get back into some more color. Recently I just did, for the GaryCon Deck of Many Things, I did 3 images for their Deck of Many Things. One oil painting and 2 others. I did the underpainting in oils, but I ended up finishing digitally just because of time and everything. but it worked out pretty good. And there we go again.
I think we did it.
Oh boy. Anyone still there?
I believe so.
I don't hear you.
I think they were talking to me. Unless this is all a simulation again.
Could be. Maybe I shouldn't keep a skull next to my desk.
Yeah, that might do it.
Next time, no skull. Well, this rubber band hack that I was doing, apparently seems to be giving me trouble. I don't know if the rubber band has gotten weak already, but seems to be slipping off and yeah, just not playing nice. So I took it off. So we'll see if this times out again. It should be an easier fix than trying to fumble around with a rubber band that actually ended up just slipping off and flying across the room and hitting the wall. So that rubber band's out of reach at this point. So just bear with me. I see we got almost 30 minutes left. I'll see if I can get this beholder done. So since I'm just doing some things off of the top of my head, not anything actually for Goodman Games, just because haven't gotten around to it. Is that okay with everyone, or does everyone really prefer something that's for Goodman Games, if possible? Or do you not mind this at all, just for some input?
While we're waiting on the input from the chat, I'm fine with either. Not that my
Sounds
opinion
good.
really matters.
Your opinion matters. You're running the show. Are you able to see my faint lines well enough? Or they look lost on here, but
It depends. When your hand's on there, sometimes it loses
Yeah.
it. When it's just the picture on the screen, you can see it just fine.
that help?
Yeah, changing that. I think when you zoomed out, it changed the contrast.
Yeah, you're right with my hand there. So if I darken it, even if my hand is there, then hopefully that's helpful. So I wouldn't exactly call this a beholder. It's the beholder's what should I say? Beholder's goofy cousin.
I think we should leave that up to Matt and the many other people who've come up with some pretty great beholder puns.
Mm-hmm. Matt, this is another one. You need to find a place for it. I'm counting on you, buddy. Hmm. Has everyone watched Peacemaker?
I have not.
Not everyone has HBO, but plus I can't get into too much detail since this is a PG show, but it was I thought it was pretty funny, pretty good. So still get a lot of people or fair amount of people in the other shows being that it's on a Monday, or it doesn't seem to bother much, do you think?
I'm not sure.
Now, how much do we have to send everybody for coming on tonight?
Shh. We don't negotiate with them while we're live.
Oh, whoops. Don't negotiate with the terrorists. Fans, watchers.
We've got some people who have watched Peacemaker. Hectophonic says that Peacemaker was excellent, and TSW says that it was better than they expected.
Definitely better than I expected. It wouldn't have been anything I particularly would have watched based on Suicide Squad or whatnot, because I don't follow that stuff, but I was pleasantly surprised. Kind of like when Deadpool came out. I didn't know a thing about Deadpool. If that gives you any sort of idea on maybe the sort of humor or whatnot in it.
TSW is curious, do you draw sci-fi or space opera art?
Space opera art?
Yeah, I've never heard that term before, actually.
I don't know that I have. I've done some MCC stuff, but not a whole lot. Is he referring to space opera like in The Fifth Element? I feel like one of those caricature artists at Great America, except I'm drawing a beholder. So did we lose Matt? Did he give up on me?
It's nap time.
Not that he has to be here. Everybody's got work.
Apparently, TSW, to go back to the sci-fi space opera thing, and this is something I didn't realize. So space opera apparently is a genre like Star Wars.
Ah.
I wouldn't have put that in, because I always just thought of that as fantasy in space.
I guess I've heard that before, called that sort of thing. I don't know that I've really done any sci-fi stuff. I'd like to draw some Star Wars things, and there we go. And there we go. Wait, is it gonna come back? Oh, The year is 1985. You've just come through a time warp. Now it'd be nice if we could, if like when this stupid thing timed out and popped back on, I'd be like half done and be like all of a sudden just, what? How did all that happen? It was like a couple of seconds. Maybe I should have like a finished version of this, of my next thing. So when it happens, I'll throw that on. Be like, oh, I just finished the whole thing. Well, hopefully we'll have these technical difficulties resolved for the next one. Again, fingers crossed. On a scale of 1 to 10, would this prevent you from watching my show?
For me, the answer is no, because I'm finding it very entertaining.
Well, that's good. If you don't think like Alana, then I don't know what to tell you. Then you're not one of the cool kids. Yeah, I had a couple of friends actually, who had done the caricatures at that Great America. I wonder, I never really asked them how that was. Again, drawing in front of people. But I imagine it's somewhat similar, except they probably don't have to talk or whatnot, but takes you a bit to get over the the stage fright, maybe, I guess, that I had a bit here before we were starting. Yeah. Feeling a bit more comfortable. That's nice. Again, I can't reiterate enough, having a good host to help me along.
You know, there's something about the gleam in that beholder's eye. He's kind of freaking me out, man. He's a little too happy to be here.
I gotta make him mad, anger him up a little bit. Get some, gotta get his teeth in, make him look a little bit meaner.
So is this what the wizard turns into?
This might be what the wizard turns me into. Oh, I'm not a good whistler either, so. Can't have an eyeball without some veins. A mean, mad eyeball. So my apologies for all of you beholder sticklers. Like I said, this is the beholder's cousin. The cousin of the beholder.
We got some great captions for your beholder. We've got one from Hectophonic saying, "Where's the Visine?" We got another that I think would be perfect to do a line. This would be great to do a line of those like motivational office posters, like the kitten hanging in a tree that's like hang in there and stuff. But Paxton brought up a good one that says, the happy beholder says, "Do you do what you love and you'll always be happy at work."
You can't see, but I'm smiling.
Pass it this way and don't be holding it. The chat is just great tonight. I've just got to say I'm loving all of this. You guys are great.
Oh, I appreciate it. I'll expect no less every other time.
You hear that? You guys got big shoes to fill next week.
Uh-huh. So, have you ever done a 24-hour Twitch live feed?
Myself, I have not. I've thought about it, and then I got old. I've done an all-nighter for school before, like doing studying and like doing essays and things, and that kicked my booty, and I don't know, like I can't imagine what it's like for like streamers who sit there and like go on for 24 hours. Like, you've got to pass out at just some point.
Mm-hmm. Got a good buddy, Arnie Sweckel, who actually did a 20, was it not 24 hours, but was it 12 or all night? Something, a live stream on Twitch some years ago. I couldn't stay up all night. I watched as much as I could, but man, that poor guy was dragging a little bit at the end, but he did an amazing job. Much better than I am, but it's great fun to watch him. Well, I've got a bunch of people here for give me some pointers. I've been out of Cologne for a while, and they stopped selling high karate that I could find. So, does anyone have any good Cologne tips? Especially something I can wear to the conventions, you know? So, who's got a good Cologne tip? Come on, TSW.
Yeah, somebody's got to have something. There was one I bought.
Help a guy out.
Where? I don't know where I put that bottle. I bought a mini. Oh, there it is. I bought a mini bottle of something. I think it's Calvin Klein. Paxton says B-Paul, but B-P-A-L, but I don't know what that is. What is this thing? One that I think smells amazing is Bleu de Chanel. It's a men's Chanel one, and I think it smells really good. I was buying a bunch of like testers because I was going to give cologne as a gift to somebody, but didn't know what they would like. And now my hand smells like cologne touching that bottle to find the label. Great. So the BPAL is Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. Never heard of it, but sounds pretty cool. Jess suggests that she's always been a fan of CK1 or Tommy,
Here we
And
go.
there it goes again. I'll just keep reading this until I have to change it to standby.
Sure. Can they hear you?
Hectophonic says, you're gonna laugh, but Man by Bivogari is solid. And I have to give credit to SNL for this, and you guys get to see my upside down head while I mention this, but I have to give SNL a thumbs up for this. It's the only reason I know how to say Bivogari, because of that really stupid like skit that they did about watches. So, on that note, I'm gonna go to BRB, and we'll see if we can figure this out for the last 5 minutes. Still not done with the Beholder, everybody, but you know we're still here.
I'm still here. Oh my goodness. We'll get some teeth in here. Maybe that'll make this guy a little better, a little more interesting. I didn't even get to do all the other eyes.
So what I'm hearing is we're gonna get to see this finished picture next week, right?
Sure. I might finish it tonight just to have it. Kind of actually having fun with it, so yeah. Sorry again for all the technical difficulties. It's funny how things just don't want to work even after all the testing. It's livable, I think, maybe. All right, let's see if I can get something in with this guy's mouth here. Let's give him a broken tooth. Probably doesn't get to the dentist much, is my guess.
Can you just imagine the gunk that is in like all of these monsters' teeth? Like, I don't think I've ever thought about that until now, and now that's all I'm gonna think about whenever I see a monster in a D&D book is like,
Yeah, they don't.
They're probably nasty.
They don't brush their teeth.
Nah.
Well, unless they've got a caretaker, maybe someone brushes this guy's teeth.
Now that's an interesting character or like NPC design. Is somebody's a eldritch monster caretaker.
Someone's got to do it.
Dungeons and dentists. Dungeon dentist is a dangerous job. I love this. Chad has been on fire with these puns.
I've got a friend who's a dentist. I hope they get his input. And he also used to play Dungeons and Dragons. He's one of the people I got to play with when I was a kid. Dungeons and Dragons.
So we should stat up a dungeon dentist for him to play.
Onto a new lead. And if you noticed, I bounce around from different parts to different parts, just wherever I feel like working on something. Unfortunately, that's how I am when I'm cleaning too. I can't get one thing done. Is that a timer on this? Is this gonna tell me it's gonna time out in a minute? Just be prepared. Might time out. I guess I mean, I don't mind working, but I know you've got stuff to do, and I know everyone else has to get into work. But otherwise, surprisingly, I've really enjoyed this time tonight, actually. So, without further ado, I'll give you one quick sneak peek on something I'm working on. Let's see, before it times out. This was due. I was lucky to get a nice extension on this, so.
Nice. That's sort of sick. Or dagger.
I think they described it as a crystalline sword or something.
Oh, that's sick.
So, this will be in one of the next issues of Tales from the Magician's Skull. So, look for it. It'll be finished for that, though. I promise. And next time we'll get you you'll see this guy finished. I might see if I darken him up a little bit. That helps bring out some of the detail. I don't know. That's
All right.
messy. All right.
Before we leave, I just saw that there was a redeemed random Joker fact. Let me pull that up for you. So, I found this out today. Really weird. Hunting unicorns is legal in Michigan. Lake Superior State University in Michigan offers a unicorn hunting license. There you go. There's your random Joker fact, Fusridden.
Well, that's kind of sad. Hopefully there are, I guess, at least there are no unicorns.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, everybody. Thanks for joining. We will see you guys next week with hopefully less problems.
No promises.
No promises.
I've got enough
Fingers
pressure.
crossed.
You get what you get.
Yep.
If you're not back, that's it. You're off my Christmas list.
Alright, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks for coming, everyone.